If you're a financial advisor or an insurance pro, there's a gold mine just sitting there in your files, both the digital ones and the old school paper ones. I'm talking about old life insurance policies. Today, we're going to talk about how you can turn these forgotten documents into some really powerful opportunities to serve your clients and, yeah, grow your practice. I mean, just think about it for a second. A client buys a policy, they feel good about it, they file it away, and, well, that's pretty much it. For years, sometimes decades, that policy just sits there. It's just a line item on an annual statement. But the actual strategy behind it, that's frozen in time. And while that might be how it's always been done, it is a huge, huge missed opportunity. And that's the big question, isn't it? What if that set it and forget it approach is actually creating hidden risks for your client? And what if, by not proactively looking at these policies, you're leaving real value and really important conversations on the table? This isn't just about shuffling paperwork. It's about your professional responsibility and, frankly, about smart business growth. Okay, so let's get into why this even happens. A policy that was absolutely perfect on day one can become totally misaligned over time. The world changes. And maybe even more importantly, your client's world changes. And the assumptions that policy was built on, they can become, well, dangerously outdated. This right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. The needs of a young couple buying their first house are completely different from that same couple 30 years later, planning for retirement or long-term care. A policy that's built for one chapter of life just rarely fits all the chapters that come after. The point is, life happens, right? But the policy, it stays frozen in time. So let's break this down. The fit of a policy can go wrong in a bunch of ways. First, income. What was easy to afford back then might be a real burden now. Or maybe their income has grown and the coverage is now way too small. Family needs change. Kids grow up, businesses get sold, estate plans totally evolve. And let's be honest, a policy that was illustrated 20 years ago with sky-high interest rate assumptions probably isn't performing the way anyone thought it would. And on top of all that, the market itself has changed. There are better products out there now with incredible features like living benefits. And this brings up such a critical distinction in your approach. An annual statement, it just shows activity. It confirms the policy is, still alive. But a review uncovers the fit. It tells you if the policy is still actually working for your client's goals. One is passive, just checking a box. The other is a proactive service that proves the strategy is still sound. So how do we fix this whole situation? Well, it really takes a shift in how we think about it. We need to stop looking at a policy review as just a way to set up a sale and start seeing it for what it really is, a core advisory service. This is the big idea right here. When you go to a client to review their policy, the goal isn't to walk in and pitch a new product. The goal is to provide your expert guidance, to make sure their financial tools are still sharp and doing the job they're supposed to do. This is how you build trust. You're not coming in with an agenda, you're coming in with expertise. Exactly. The most powerful message a proactive review sends to your client is simply that you're paying attention, that you're watching out for them. You're not just the person who sold them something 5, 10, 15 years ago. You're their partner for the long haul, safeguarding their financial well-being, and you just can't put a price on that. And look, the benefits for your practice? They're huge. It's the perfect, totally non-salesy reason to reconnect with clients you haven't spoken to in a while. You get to be proactive, to surface needs they might not even know they have yet. And what happens then? The relationship gets stronger. Clients who feel like you're truly looking out for them, they stay longer, they refer more. And yeah, of course, new business opportunities pop up, but they happen organically, out of a real conversation about service, not a hard pitch. Okay, so what actually happens when you do one of these reviews? It's not a one-way street that automatically leads to a new sale. A real review is all about giving your client clarity. And there are a few different ways things can go. Yeah, think of it like this. You're at a fork in the road. Your job isn't to shove them down one particular path. It's to be their guide, to explain all the available routes so they can make a smart, informed choice about which direction is best for them at this point in their life. And really, it boils down to 4 main outcomes. First, you might find out the policy is still a perfect fit. That's awesome. You just reinforce their confidence in you and the plan. Second, maybe you can improve it, find a better product or structure. Third, you could repurpose it. Maybe the death benefit isn't the primary need anymore, but it could be a fantastic tool for estate planning. And fourth, if it truly doesn't fit anymore, you can explore what that policy is actually worth. And that last one, Valuing it is so important because let's be real, most clients, and hey, even some advisors, they think there are only two choices for a policy they don't need anymore: surrender it for pennies on the dollar or just let it lapse and get nothing. A proper review can open up a third door, showing them that the policy itself might be a valuable asset.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need to go find a bunch of new clients to start having these conversations. This opportunity is already right there, sitting in your current book of business. It's time to put those old policies back to work for you and for your clients.
So, the only question left is, are you ready to make this shift? Are you ready to stop just filing statements and start building real relationships that uncover hidden value for your clients and for your practice?
If you're nodding your head yes right now, then your next step is to get the how-to. And we've got you covered with an exclusive DMI University webinar that does exactly that.
In this live webinar, we're going to dig into why these reviews are so critical. We'll show you how to bring them up in a way that sounds natural, not transactional, and we'll cover the kinds of amazing opportunities a real review can unlock. So mark your calendar. It's live on Wednesday, April 8th at noon Eastern. Look, don't let this opportunity just collect dust in a filing cabinet. Head over to dmiuniversity.com and register right now for this free live webinar. It is time to unlock all that hidden potential in your book of business. We'll see you there.